We are the team number 2, and we are going to present the mangrove ecosystem. The team is confirmed by Mariana Lisset, Sara Raquel, Anabel Aguilar Aguiar, Yaritzi Naí, and me, Odales Garcia. Introduction. Mangrove forests are an ecosystem of an incredible biological diversity comprising hundreds of algae, mollusks, crustaceans, fish, etc. Its most common use for humans is commercial. One of its products is the wood. Mangroves also provide crucial ecosystem service to people. The geographical distribution. It's known that they are distributed into zones, Western Zone and Eastern Zone, but in the American continent and in the Caribbean we can find mangroves. The countries with the largest area of mangroves are Indonesia, Brazil, Australia, Nigeria, and Mexico.
Biotic factors of mangrove ecosystem. The biotic factors of mangroves are the organisms that survive, for example, those that have life, such as flora and fauna. These living beings must have behavior and physiological and morphological characteristics that allow them to survive and reproduce in a defined environment. The mangroves have a great biological diversity. The reptiles and amphibians are crocodiles and alligators predominate in the mangroves. Fish, it is reported that there are more than 120 species of fish count. Crustaceans such as crabs and shrimp and mollusks such as bivalves and gastropods predominate here. Mammals, large numbers of mammals frequent mangrove habitats, but only a few lie there, such as the Royal Bengal tiger, leopard, axis deer, with boar, and mouse deer. Birds, the total list of mangrove bird species in each of the biogeographic regions comprises 115 to 2015 species. In its fauna or vegetation, mangrove types and halophyllene herbs predominate. The abiotic factors of mangrove ecosystem are sunlight, the water in large amounts of salinity, the temperature more than 19 degrees Celsius or 66 degrees Fahrenheit, the wind, and the soil water longe and moody.
Well, here we have an example of food web in the mangrove ecosystem. First, we start with the sunlight to make mangrove grows, and thanks for the sun, mangrove drops its leaves and is divided in two. The mangrove drops its leaves, cause crab eats mangrove leaf litter, and also the leaf litter turns into marine debris. Then in the crab, a pea oyster catcher eats crab, and the fish eats crabs and marine debris, and the seabirds eat fish. And this is the example of the food web.
Environmental service provided by mangroves ecosystem. Mangroves have enormous ecological significance, both of the function of the natural environment and to humans. Mangroves protect buffer zone, helps shield coastlines from storm damage and wave action, minimizing damage to property and losses of life from hurricanes and storms. Provide nursery, feeding and refuge areas and underpinning coastal food webs that support many commercial habits local substance harvest, and other sustainable use such as limit timber and firewood harvest, local medicine production, and other important local uses. Another service that mangroves provide is soil stabilization and erosion protection and flood mitigation, nutrient rotation and water quality improvement through the filtration of sediments and pollutants, thereby preventing the contamination of nurture waters such as nitrogen and phosphorus. And mangroves absorb carbon dioxide and store carbon in their sediments, thereby lessening the impacts of global warming. Recent research has also indicated that mangroves are incredible carbon sinks, sequestering more carbon than any of their territorial counterparts. Mangrove substrate may contain 20% carbon, which may also help explain the high productivity and biodiversity of this ecosystem.
The biological, economic, political, and social implications of human activity. In the biological, we have draining suffocates mangroves when the area roots become flooded, preventing oxygen from reaching the root system. In the economic aspect, this land and coastal activity result in increasing erosion as well as the reduction of nursery areas supporting commercial and game fishers. In the social, urban development of areas and near mangroves results in the destruction of its habitats as well as other associated wetland habits. And finally, in the political, new laws to preserve these areas with organizations that protect them.
Proposals for the protection of the mangrove ecosystem. We as a society can carry out the reforestation of trees to avoid drought and maintain humidity. At the same time, we can avoid the felling of trees, collecting and avoiding contact with the garbage, since it can contaminate the water and affect all the living beings that remain in the habitat. It is also important to strengthen the environmental authority to prevent the cutting of the mangroves, that there are no changes in the soils as for the construction of piers, etc. The reorganization of the inhabitants so the abuse of fishing does not exist and also create more environmental conservation laws. First, to conclusion, mangroves are a very biodiverse ecosystem, as there are many biotic factors such as animals, plants, and trees. There are also abiotic factors such as temperature, the sun, among many other factors. They are found in countries like Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia, Australia, and other places. This ecosystem has to be protected through actions such as establishing more laws to protect the environment, avoid polluting the water with waste or garbage, and thus maintain humidity in the environment and preserve the species that inhabit here.